Week 5 to 6 lesson based on milk. Kindly read and analyze this short paragraph. Is there anything wrong? Well, actually, there's nothing wrong with this paragraph. But a connector should be added to clearly show the relationship between the sentences and ideas. Later, we will discover examples of connectors that will help us improve our paragraph. So this is our milk number 4. The domain, first, we have the grammar. The learning competency is to use appropriate, cohesive devices in composing an informative speech. The second one is use emphasis markers for persuasive purposes. Our second domain is reading comprehension, and the learning competency is scan for logical connectors to determine the text type. And for the number of days taught, together with all the activities and worksheets, is 10. In this lesson, you are expected to identify appropriate signals showing coherence and establish coherence in sentences using applicable words. Systematic logical connection or consistency in sentences and texts are important to establish clear presentation of information. This connection can be established through coherence. There are signals that can be used to indicate coherence among sentences in a paragraph or texts. So let's have this activity first. Let's find out if you are already aware with the transition signals or connectors. So what I want you to do is read this article and identify the samples of transition signals or connectors. I will give you 1 minute for that, and your time starts now. So time is up. Let's compare your answer to the correct answers. The words in red are considered as transition signals or connectors. Let's have another 1 minute for this paragraph. And as again, the words in red are transition signals or connectors. The connectors that we identified in our previous activity are just few examples of transition signals. These transition signals are used to achieve coherence. Coherence is very important in a sentence, paragraph, or texts. It helps the author in establishing connection between and among concepts presented. It can only be established with the help of various transition signals that signify different meanings. Take note that a change in transition signal may result to incomprehensible concepts or absence of connection. So it means that you really have to choose the appropriate transition signals to be used in your paragraph for clarity of context and idea. Because if you use wrong transition signals, your readers might not understand your point. So our acronym is AAX. A stands for additive transitions, adversative transitions, causal transitions, and sequential transitions. So those are the 4 basic classifications of transition signals, and we will discuss it one by one. We have here a table with classification, function, transition signals, and sample sentence. We have here additive as a first classification, and for the function to add a similar idea. In this sense, it is when you add a similar idea or concept to support your already mentioned idea. And those are the transition signals. Now take a look at the sample sentence. The first idea, we should all be careful with the coronavirus disease that makes our respiratory system weak, is supported by the HIV or AIDS that makes our immune system frail, as an addition or similar idea using the word likewise. The next function is to introduce an additional idea or when you wanted to elaborate your idea or concept. And those are the transition signals. Take a look at the sample sentence. The additional information or idea is it advises them to always observe appropriate health protocols using the word also. The next function is to introduce an example or illustration. It is when we provide examples to clarify our ideas. And those are the transition signals. Now take a look at our sample sentence. The term social or physical distancing is the given example of health protocols mandated by the government, and the transition signal used is for example. The next function is to introduce a restatement or explanation. It is when you wanted to reason out or justify your idea. And those are the examples of transition signals. Take a look at our sample sentence. In the first statement, which is, we did not enjoy our vacation in Hong Kong, a question will be raised there. What's the reason? And the justification is heavy rains poured the city for almost 3 days, using the word in fact. The last function is to draw to a close or summarize. It is normally located at the last part of your paragraph, a summary that serves as your closing paragraph. Take note of the samples of transition signals. As you can see in the sample sentence, the transition signal in conclusion is used to introduce a summary of the already presented concept or idea. In general, additives normally starts the sentence or opens the sentence, and it is always followed by a comma. Adversative means you are expressing your opposing views or you are contradicting an idea. So as again, we have a table here, the classification, the function, the transition signals, and the sample sentence. The function here is to introduce an opposite idea or contrast. Those are the long list examples of transition signals. In the sample sentence, there are two opposing statements, the positive and the negative. The negative statement is, even though the country is experiencing great economic loss due to this pandemic. And the positive view or statement is, it has continued helping other countries by sending our medical frontliners and other essential materials. The next function is to emphasize or clarify a point. We only have few transition signals for this function. Now take a look at our sample sentence. There is an emphasis on Glenda's character traits. And that is, she is helpful and wonderful person using the transition signal indeed. In here, it presents result of an action or idea. As again, we have here the table. For classification, we have causal, and for the function, we have here to indicate a consequence or result. Take note of the long list samples of transition signals in this function. As indicated in the sample sentence, the action done is reviewed their lessons well before their exams. And the result is they passed the school's assessment process using the transition signal as a result. In here, it refers to on how the ideas, events, or actions are being arranged. We have again the table here. For the classification, we have sequential, and for the function, we have to sequence your ideas. And take note the long list of transition signals in this function. As you can see in the sample sentence, the events are being arranged as to which comes first. So we are done with our discussion. I guess you are ready now for our next activity.